Hello, everybody, and welcome. Let's see, I'm not sure if this has started. Manually start. And sometimes I always forget. Okay. All right, hello everybody. We are ready to get started on today's live stream. Welcome to Science Storytime. I'm Be the Scientist, and this week we are talking all about engineering. It's Build It Week. So, in the spirit of engineering, whenever I try to build something, I sometimes get frustrated because things don't work out. And sometimes I just don't have any good ideas, or I think I don't have any good ideas. So, if you are here and you're tuning in with us, make sure that you comment so that I know that you're here. I'm not quite sure if this is working or not, so we're going to find out. It's always interesting. But I'm just, I might just continue as if I'm live. And if I'm not, then I'll be reading this to myself. So today we have two really great books. We've got The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds, and we also have Willow. And Willow is written by Denise Brennan-Nelson. And both of these are really fun stories about creativity. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with The Dot. Excellent. And let's see if I can adjust this a little bit. Let's get my bookmark bar away. There we go. We got a little more room. Okay. So this story, again, I haven't talked about it in a while, but I really love Internet Archive Open Book. That's where I've been getting all of my digital storybooks that you've been seeing here. You can check out 10 books at a time, so I've been having a lot of fun reading a bunch of books that I never got a chance to read. So let's get started with The Dot. And again, if anyone's joining me on Facebook, I would love some confirmation that you're here. It looks like Facebook's telling me I'm having trouble with the video. So hopefully that is not true. I don't know. Okay, here we go with The Dot. The Dot. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. And there's Vashti, sitting maybe in her art class. Oops, we are loading. Okay. Vashti's teacher leaned over the blank paper. Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm, she said. Very funny, said Vashti. I just can't draw. Her teacher smiled. Just make a mark and see where it takes you. Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. There. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper towards Vashti and quietly said, now sign it. Vashti thought for a moment. Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name. The next walk, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn. Her dot, all framed in swirly gold. Wow, that is a place of honor behind your teacher's desk. That's really cool. I can make a dot better than that. She opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. There's nothing like a fresh palette of art supplies. Vashti painted and painted a yellow dot, a green dot, a red dot, a blue dot. The blue mixed with the red, she discovered that she could make a purple dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make even bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot. That's called negative space. I like that one the most so far. Wow, and look at this. Now it looks like we're in an art exhibit with a bunch of different dots all over. At the school's art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "You're a really great artist. I wish I could draw," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? No, not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me." The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it." Wow, it looks like that little boy is so surprised that she liked her drawing. The end. Dedicated to Mr. Matson, my 7th grade math teacher, who dared me to make my mark. So that was our very first story called The Dot. Sometimes I get so discouraged that I can't come up with a good idea that I don't do anything. And we're going to see after our next book a really fun experiment that you can build and play with all by yourself with your own supplies that you can find at home. But first, let's get to our next book about creativity and building called Willow. Willow by Denise Brennan-Nelson. Ooh, I already like the inside jacket, all the illustrations on it. That's pretty cool. Oh, and we've got an old style library card here. For those young kids who've never seen this before, this is how we used to take out library books. Willow. In memory of my mom, who loved being an art teacher, for all the nuts on my family tree, and for Mom, who had a heart as big as Willow's and who gave us this story and so much more. Wow, what a meaningful dedication. Even on the sunniest days, Miss Hawthorne's art room was cold and dark. Everything was in its place. There wasn't a single broken crayon in the bunch. The students sat in their rows, silent and still, like eggs in a carton. Rosy-cheeked Willow twisted around in her seat to look out the window. "Face forward, young lady!" Miss Hawthorne's icy blue eyes glared at Willow. Willow shivered. Ooh, did I miss a line there? Miss Hawthorne's moods were as dark as her clothing. One day in September, Miss Hawthorne handed out a paper, paintbrushes, and paints. She told her students to make pictures of a tree and hung an example on the board. All the students painted trees with straight brown trunks and round green tops. Everyone except for Willow. "Whoever heard of pink trees?" Miss Hawthorne asked with a frown. "That's what I saw when I closed my eyes," said Willow. A few students giggled. Sam snorted. "Pink stinks." Uh-oh, Miss Hawthorne doesn't look too happy. The next week, Willow carried her well-loved art book to school. In it was a picture of a flamingo pink tree painted by a famous artist. "Look," Willow pointed, giving Miss Hawthorne her most magical smile. Miss Hawthorne glanced at the picture, then turned away with a scowl. "Horrid little girl," she muttered as Willow skipped off. Miss Hawthorne didn't like to be shown that real artists use their imagination too. In October, Miss Hawthorne passed out paper, paintbrushes, and paints. She told her students to make pictures of an apple, of an apple tree and hung an example on the board. All the students painted trees with straight brown trunks, round green tops, and red apples. Everyone except for Willow. Miss Hawthorne pointed with a long, bony finger. Look at the mess you've made. And there's no such thing as a blue apple. But that's what I saw when I closed my eyes, said Willow. Some of the students giggled. Sam laughed especially hard. Yeah, who ever heard of a blue apple? Uh-oh, Miss Hawthorne does not look happy. I would not want to have her as my art teacher. The next week, Willow carried her well-loved art book to school. She showed Miss Hawthorne a picture of a tree with blue apples. Then she reached into her backpack and took out a blue apple. This is for you, she said, handing it to Miss Hawthorne. Miss Hawthorne's face turned crimson. Horrid little girl, she muttered as Willow skipped off. So it looks like we're hustling and we're bustling around in school. We've got Miss Hawthorne, the art teacher here, and look, it looks like it's almost science time, and there's a science poster that says, "Science is fun." It sure is. Stop, Willow, no! Put that book away! Too messy! No polka dot pigs! No snow ladies! No scribbles! No snowmen! No purple cats! No! Autumn flew past. Willow always seemed to be in trouble in Miss Hawthorne's class. Stop daydreaming, Willow. You broke another crayon, Willow. Willow, put that book away. Most of all, Willow got into trouble for not painting things the way Miss Hawthorne wanted her to. The day before winter vacation began, students brought presents for their teachers. No one brought a present for Miss Hawthorne, except for Willow. Miss Hawthorne stood at the window watching Willow and the other students board their buses. She wasn't in any hurry to leave. No one was waiting for her at home. Oh, that's sad. I wonder what Willow got as a present, or what Willow brought as a present to Miss Hawthorne. Looks like it's something in a box. Miss Hawthorne walked to her desk. She was surprised to see a gift. No one ever gave her gifts. To Miss Hawthorne, my art teacher, from Willow. Miss Hawthorne slowly unwrapped the package. Nestled in a bed of tissue paper was Willow's well-loved art book. Miss Hawthorne sat holding the book for a long time. It was dark outside when she walked to the cabinet where the art supplies were kept locked away. Miss Hawthorne filled her arms with paintbrushes, paints, colored pencils, and a sketch pad and carried them to her desk. She flipped open the sketch pad and stared down at the blank page. Finally, Miss Hawthorne picked up a colored pencil. For the first time in her life, Miss Hawthorne doodled. Wow, an art teacher that never doodled? Interesting. And there she is. She's got all of her supplies around her. Outside, the wind howled, trees creaked and strained and broke where they could not bend. Snowflakes swirled upwards. The lights flickered off. Miss Hawthorne sat in the darkness. When the lights came back on, Miss Hawthorne's fingers found the wet paint and spread it across the page. The school custodian poked his head in the classroom. He stopped, astonished at what he saw. Wow, that's the first time we've seen Miss Hawthorne smile, and look at all the art that she's made all around her. Wow. Look at that fun snowman. Across town, Willow stood at her bedroom window, peering at the soft, fat snowflakes through her spyglass. After a while, she climbed into bed and fell asleep, wondering if Miss Hawthorne liked her present. It's interesting that Willow is staring at fat snowflakes. That actually means that it's a little bit warmer out. The smaller the snowflake, the more powdery the snow is and the colder it is. So that's just a little fun fact for you. When the students returned to school in January, everything was the same as always, except for the art room. With wide eyes and open mouths, the students stood rooted in the doorway. Willow was the first to step inside. Wow. Behind a graceful willow tree covered in paint from head to toe, a woman was painting. Everyone's looking at each other. What's going on? Where's Miss Hawthorne? That doesn't look like Miss Hawthorne. Do you know where Miss Hawthorne is? Willow asked. When the woman turned around, the students gasped. Miss Hawthorne? Asked Willow. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Willow, Miss Hawthorne said. Grab the paintbrushes. I need your help. Delighted, the students did as they were asked. This time, everyone painted just the way they wanted. Wow, look at that. We've got a cow jumping over a moon, a pink tree, maybe some sort of a monster creature, lots of flowers and fun designs, especially Willow. The end. And look, this must be some of Miss Hawthorne's doodles. So I know that today's storybooks weren't exactly about science, but now is when I'm going to bring you all of the engineering fun. So I found a really cool blog post from somebody who tried this, what they call STEM challenge. Remember, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So let me show you what we're going to do today. So they built a marble run with Play-Doh. And I have Play-Doh sitting around, and I also have some other tools that I decided to use to make it. Now, in this picture, it shows a young boy using a cookie sheet or a baking pan to make little snakes out of Play-Doh and then roll little balls down them, which is really cool. But they upped the ante. They even made it more complex. So I'll share this link so that you can check out the videos for yourself, but I'm just going to show you a few of the pictures to inspire you. So this is what they use. They have some cups, some Play-Doh, and they upped the ante. They weren't just doing it on a flat cookie sheet, but they ended up using paper cups, cutting them up, and then using the Play-Doh to build ramps. Now I have to admit, I was doing this all morning, and I had a lot of trouble making the ramps sturdy enough in order to stay. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I did to try and troubleshoot that. But I know what I'll be doing the rest of the day. So here's some of the pictures of the marble runs that this family made. Now I want to show you the supplies that I chose to use for my experiment. Okay, and let's see if I can get this in the view of both Facebook and Instagram. Okay, so I've got a few different materials here. I brought a bunch of Play-Doh. Oops, it's actually all backwards, although you'll see better here. I brought some Play-Doh. I brought some fun kitchen tools that I thought would be really good for Play-Doh. I've got a pizza cutter and also this awesome chopper that also has units of measure on it. So that's really cool. I'll be able to use that. Then I had a bunch of straws left over from another science experiment that I tried, so I cut them all in half because my marble run isn't going to be super long. Then I don't have any paper cups, but I do have a bunch of plastic cups, so I'm going to use these. I also have been collecting all my toilet paper tubes and paper towel tubes, so I used a few of these. We've got a full toilet paper tube, but then I cut one in half to make kind of what looks like a half pipe. And then, of course, you can't have a marble run without the marbles. I don't have any marbles, but I do have a lot of craft supplies. So I found a bunch of spherical beads that I'm going to use on mine. Okay, so now that I showed you all the supplies that I'm going to use, I'm going to attempt for the very first time to do a little bit of a stage shift live. We're going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you the marble run that I made. Okay, bear with me everybody. Let's see if we can make this a smooth transition. All right, we are sliding the supplies away. We are rotating Facebook. Here we go. Facebook has been rotated. Oh boy. I made a mistake using tin, it looks like, because that is just reflecting everything. But let's see if we can find some solutions. And now I'm going to turn Instagram around. Okay. So for once, I think Instagram might have a better view of what we're doing. Yeah, you can't really see it based on the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a towel and I'm going to put it over the window so that we can't see all of the reflection. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Wow, isn't live TV so fun, everybody? I need something to step on to get a little bit taller. Oh boy, spilling everything. So, while I'm doing this, start thinking about what you want your marble run to look like. I wanted mine to have a lot of ramps, and I'm still working to make it look good. Okay, let's see if that helped any. Oh yes, it did. Excellent. My hypothesis was correct. Okay. So, here is my marble run that I made. Now, like I said before, I was getting a little bit frustrated because I tried a lot of different ways in order to get this to work. Now, I took a bunch of my Play-Doh and I rolled it out into worms. I decided to start with just the flat version because, well, I did try to make a bunch of ramps, but it didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to. I think I have a really good first draft though, and I'll be able to improve that over the next week. So here we go. I've got all of my marbles that I'm going to use, or all my beads, and I'm going to start it right up here. So the race, and you might not be able to see it too detailed. I'll try to get an up-close video so that you can see all of them racing. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour them right here at the start. And we're going to see what happens. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 marbles. So let's see what happens. Oh, wow. So it looks like all of the marbles got through the race except for this one. This is the biggest marble, and it's green and black. I used a combination of worms and dots. And I use the dots to act kind of like those little bumpers that are in pinball games. So I want to show you some tips. Now, in the blog post that I'll link, they used cups. And so I cut the bottom of some of the cups off so that I could have different heights. Now, when I tried making here, I'm going to put this flat down. When I tried making my ramps, I decided that I needed some sort of hard support to support the Play-Doh, because Play-Doh can't just stand on its own. It's really not super secure and it's wobbly. So I took my straws that I cut and put it on the bottom of the ramp. So I put the straw here, and then I was going to attach it just like this. Okay, so I'm going to keep showing you what I was thinking about. Then I needed something to cover up the opening in the cup, so I cut out a piece of a cereal box, and I put Play-Doh on the edge to act as a little bumper. And I wanted it to go like this. I wanted the marble to come down, go down the ramp, and then start on my tin. But I still need to work on making a few more ramps. So some of the other things that are really cool and good tips for this experiment specifically is to make sure at the very bottom you put a bunch of Play-Doh down. And the reason you want to do that is to absorb all of the leftover energy, because my floors are not even. I think I've mentioned that before. And so the marbles were coming off of the tray and hopping off and then scattering to different corners of my house. So by putting Play-Doh at the bottom, you're absorbing the extra energy and it'll stop it. I kind of want to try this again. This time, maybe I'll just use 3 marbles, a pink one, a white one, and a blue one. Wow, and it's interesting that it doesn't have the same path every single time. Now, while I was building it, I was constantly dropping a marble, seeing where it went, and then building on top of that. So I want to see what you all can make with this really fun marble run activity. And I'm going to keep you updated with how my multi-level marble run is going. Again, use whatever you have around your house. And if you don't have any Play-Doh, I'll also be posting an instructional recipe on how you can make it at home with some kitchen objects. You don't need any kind of food coloring for it, and it's all natural. And I'm just waiting to hear back from one of my favorite preschool teachers to see what her favorite recipe is, and then I'll send it to you. So, all you need to participate in today's challenge, Play-Doh or some other kind of modeling. Also, see what else you have around the house. You might not even need this. You can also just use, this just occurred to me, that you can also just use straws or popsicle sticks and you can tape them down. So I wonder what would happen if I taped it down now. Let's try it. I put the aluminum foil over my cooking tray because it's a little grimy. No matter how much I wash it, it doesn't really seem to get all the way clean. But also, it is easy for the Play-Doh to stick to, and then also leaves no mess behind. So, okay, here is my straw piece, and let's see if we can interrupt the track that I've already made. So I'm going to take out these 2 bumpers, and we know that the marble is going to come down this way. So now I'm going to see, maybe if I can send it going even faster down. So I'm going to use my straw and my masking tape. Let's see if that works. Interesting. So that just created a shortcut to go around. So anyway, like I said, I want to see what all of you come up with. I know that you are all really creative. And I also want to remind you that sometimes engineering can be really frustrating. Sometimes we can't do exactly what we're hoping to do right away. And we have to be okay with that. If you get too frustrated, step away, take a breath, take a walk, get a snack, get some water, come back to it. That's what I'll be doing. And I'm also just noticing that some of the thinner pieces of my Play-Doh do feel like they're getting a little dried out. So in that case, I might put them back in the containers and try again later. If you're okay with hardening your Play-Doh, then that's fine. You do you. But I want to make sure that I keep my Play-Doh so that I can keep playing with it during quarantine. So, okay, this was our very first time using multiple walls in my little set room here, and I have to say, it didn't go too badly. So maybe we'll do this more often. This is like my little library where I like to sit and read, and I have all my books there in a little nice corner. So I think it's time for the goodbye song. So if you know this song, sing it along with me. And if not, you'll learn it pretty quick. So this is Build It Week. We're talking all about engineering. We've got one more Build It challenge on Friday that we're going to do. And if you learned anything new, if you really are excited to try this challenge, or you just appreciate the work of a local laid-off educator, I encourage you to donate to my Venmo or my PayPal. It is not expected, but it is appreciated during these hard times. Okay, here we go. Our goodbye song. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to play and read together in the hive, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Bye, everybody. Join us again Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you on Friday.